So my subject is about digital economy and knowledge economy. So the digital economy today is the economic activities which is transpiring through digital technology and delivering e-commerce. On the other hand, you have the knowledge economy, which is inspired by knowledge workers using intellectual capacity. So why is this digital and knowledge economy such an important topic for most economies? It's because the potential it has and the size of this economy. $12 trillion is the current digital economy of the world, GDP. It is almost 15% of the global GDP. China and the Asian region are growing 3 times. Their digital economy is growing 3 times faster than the normal economy. And by year 2030, 50% of the global economy will be powered by digital and knowledge economy. Just imagine. And people say, or experts say, we are in the middle of an industrial revolution, the 4th industrial revolution. The converse of disruptive technologies, just like artificial intelligence, robotics, 3D printing, Internet of Things, biotechnology, will disrupt every industry in the world, and also industry in Sri Lanka. Let it be a garments industry, they will introduce robotics. Our light industries, they will have 3D printing. In our agriculture, especially in our tea industry, you will find hydroponic or vertical agriculture or vertical farms. So we are not alone. This disruptive technology will disrupt the entire economic sphere of Sri Lanka and plus the world. And if you really look, what are the breakthrough nations like Singapore, Korea, and then even countries like UAE doing? Singapore has spent almost $2 billion in building a digital infrastructure. They're leaders. If you look at the index, Singapore leads. South Korea, which had a lower GDP beginning when we had our independence, has 600,000 patents, which is fueling their knowledge economy. Last year, they filed 10,000 US patents for their innovations, which is generating their economy. UAE has appointed a minister in charge of artificial intelligence. They're transforming these economies. And giving all this backdrop, let's focus on Sri Lanka, right? What does it mean to us? What does it mean to us to be Sri Lankans? And how do we look at this whole disruption and new wave of technology and new wave of economy which is happening place? If you take a bird's eye view, we're a small country. All small countries do not have the domestic population for economic growth. So we have to export, and this is a given thing. But if you look at our 3 topmost revenue earners, which is the foreign remittance from domestic workers, which is $10 billion, which is the highest foreign exchange earners. Second is garments, $4 billion. And third is tea, 1.5 million. If you really look at all these industries, 80% of the workforce who is engaged in doing these activities, economic activities, you really don't need to have a great deal of education, because these are semi-skilled or non-skilled, right? And then you look at the aspiration of our people. What is a Sri Lankan aspiration? If you speak to an auto driver or an executive or even a learned person, what is the aspiration? Is to educate their children. Because for us, social mobility in creation of wealth is based on education. right? So we have one hand, the aspiration of people is to based on education and social mobility to create wealth. On the other hand, all the industries which are generating the jobs are semi-skills. So naturally, there is a massive mismatch between the aspiration of our people and the basis of our economy. No wonder that every 20 years or 25 years we have a conflict, because the younger generation cannot comprehend. You can get yourself educated, but there is no jobs. So there is a mismatch. There's a massive mismatch in terms of our aspiration and what we can offer them as this thing. So let me take an example. I was part of a IT BPO industry, software industry. In 2000, the entire software industry's export was $50 million. And we set ourselves a goal to become a $1 billion industry. It took us 15 years to reach that feat. 15 years to take this feat. And 80% of the educated workforce, what we have, comes from rural Sri Lanka. It is not Colombo-centric, because for us, English is just a language, and it is no measure of someone's intelligence or knowledge. That's the way we built our industry. It took the tea industry 150 years to reach the same feat of making a $1 billion industry. So I think if we are to build this industry, I think for me, the proposition I want to make, the only way from a $4,000 economy for us to go to a $15 economy, per capita economy, the only way is to embrace a knowledge industry. We can use this knowledge industry. We have been the catalyst, but we can extend it to medical, to architectural, for engineering, even to agriculture, like the other countries have done. Because it then meets the aspiration of our people, and we are able to service high-level, high-end products. So to build this industry, to build this whole economy, there are a few things we need to do. So I'll quickly go through what are the first things. First thing, we need to build human capital. It is so important for us to build human capital. Today, 200,000 people qualify after A-levels to enter university. 200,000. And out of this, only 30,000 enter university. 30,000 enter university. 10,000 go overseas, 20,000 use private university. 150,000 do not have access to education. After 70 years of independence, I think this is the greatest injustice we have done to our younger generation. Right? So first thing is, I think there's a great need, if we are to build this industry as knowledge, there's enough and more graduates we need to produce, what is needed, and we need to build a massive capacity in every district and education institute, which will generate the type of workforce we need. There is nothing called oversupply of talent. It's a myth, right? There's nothing called oversupply of myth. Even if we build 10 medical schools and generate 5,000 doctors, not only will improve our medical facilities, but investors will come looking for talent. Today, in the world, the greatest asset is human capital. That's why countries like Israel, Singapore, they come searching for the talent, so we can make a completely new industry. That's the way the world is working. Second thing is our education system. Our education system was built by the British to conform and comply. Right? But in today's economy, like Dr. Bandula said, what we need is innovators. We need people to challenge. We need to have free thinkers. We need to have people who will fail, and failing is okay. right? We need a completely revamp of our education, especially our secondary education system, which will generate innovators, entrepreneurs, who will take the challenge and build the next generation of our companies. All our companies today who are floated in the stock market belong to an old economy. But the aspiration of our younger people is to be linked into a knowledge, into a world economy. For this, we need to challenge. That's why it's so important in every school. We have incubators, we have maker spaces. The way we teach them is completely different. To have free thinkers who will challenge and generate. And then finally, of course, you need to build a complete digital country. Just as important is to build ports, airports, and road infrastructure. Today, we have to build digital infrastructure to every village. ICTA has done a tremendous job over the years. It has to be strengthened, and we need to take it forward. So in summary, disruption is happening. Today, world belongs to the people who will disrupt, find new ways. Look at what Uber has done to the entire transportation industry. Airbnb, without holding one single hotel or owning one single hotel, they're the world's largest hotel provider. And that's the way of thinking what we have to do. Digital economy is taking off. Sri Lanka has to really reposition ourselves. We have the talent, we have entrepreneurs, we have innovators. We have to really reposition ourselves and to be part of this economy. So in the closure, what I like to say is, all what I have said is nothing new. A McKinsey report of $1 million will tell you this, right? Or you can search the internet, right? This is nothing new. And this advocacy about knowledge economy, so many forums I have spoken, we have advocated. But what is the difference? The difference is this. Ideas are cheap. It's everything to do with execution, right? You can have a lot of ideas. It all matters is execution, right? If you look at the breakout nations, why are they successful? Why was Lee Kuan Yew successful? Because he was able to execute fearlessly for the betterment of his people, right? That is the difference. I think the time has come, as professionals, as entrepreneurs, for us to lead this country. I think we have given it too much time for our politicians to run our country, right? It is our time, right? To take the lead, make a better Sri Lanka. Finally, I want you to leave you with this quote. Patriotism is to support your government when it deserves, but always support your country. Thank you very much.